have this discussion tackling the innovations in admissions, enrollment, assessment, and accreditation. And our panelists are joining. So I can see 2 speakers right now only, and I think others are joining. They are just logging in, and I'm informing the audience that this is a whole day session going on various topics. You can see the agenda on the chat, which is on the Facebook. It is live, and this is a one-day higher education and technical education session, virtual conclave focusing on Rajasthan, being organized by ILETS Techno Media. We are the publishers of a magazine called Digital Learning. We have been publishing it for last 15 years now, every month, and we have been running a portal called digitallearning.iletsonline.com, which has lakhs of followers on both on the website, on our social media, and our agenda is to spread the ideas of innovation in the field of education. So this is our focus area, and we have had a very eminent session since morning, and we have this session which is the panel discussion on tackling the innovation in admission, enrollment, assessment, and accreditation. And our speakers of this session are Dr. Ashok Gadia. He is the chairperson of Mewar University. Professor O.P. Changani, he is the Vice Chancellor of Apex University, Jaipur. Professor Dr. K.P. Yadav, he is the President and Vice Chancellor of Sangam University, Bhilwara, Rajasthan. Dr. Abhay Kumar, who is the Vice Chancellor of IEC University, Himachal Pradesh. And Dr. S. Shrikanta Swami, Academic Consultant, Research and Analytics Wing of National Assessment and Accreditation Council, NAAC. So these are our speakers. Let me see who has.
Good afternoon to everybody.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome,
sir.
everyone. Thanks for joining. And
Yes.
As before we start, like if I may request each of the speakers to do a brief intro about yourself, because we are live on the Facebook and so many people are seeing you for the first time. So may I request each of the speakers to introduce themselves briefly, 1 minute or 1.5 minutes each. So Dr. Ashok Gadia, he has not joined here right now. So Dr. Abhay Kumar.
Raviji, I hope I am audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Initially, I must thank you.
Sir,
I must.
Just a second. I will request each of the panelists to please put your mic on the mute so that the noise will be less. So I am requesting Dr. Abhay Kumar to start. Yes.
Yes, sir. My name is Dr. Abhay Kumar, and I am presently the Vice Chancellor of IEC University, Baddi, Himachal Pradesh. I have been in the industry for almost 16 years. Left the industry in the year 1999-2000. Since then, I am serving the education sector, and I am very thankful to Mr. Ravi Gupta for the yeoman's job that he is doing in the education sector since long, and I have always been a part of his deliberations. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for joining us. May I request Professor K.P. Yadav, please introduce yourself. Your audio is on mute. Yeah.
Yeah. Good afternoon to one and all, and thanks to the Mr. Raviji, who has given us opportunity to speak today on this on this issue. And myself, basically, BTech, MTech, PhD, and postdoctorate DSc in computer engineering, along with the management MBA, having around 24 years experience. I am working here from the last 2 years, more than 2 years as a vice chancellor. Earlier, I have been worked as around 10 years as a director of engineering institutes in NCR regions. I am also in panel of NAC. We recently visited 2 institutes in month of March 20 as a chairperson of the committee. One is Mumbai, another is Telangana, Hyderabad. So working in different capacities and different organizations like this ICR also. I have wide experience apart from this education, along with the handling the situations like the COVID also. Our university is doing well, and we have already completed our midterm, mid-semester exams online through different modes. So it will be easy to
we will start the panel later. So, Mr. Dr. Shrikant Swamiji, welcome.
Yes, sir. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
I'm Dr. Shrikant Swami. I'm basically professor of education. Right now, I am working as an academic consultant in the research and analysis wing NAC. Before that, I was working as an additional director in charge of PhD programs at Christ University. Earlier to it, I was a professor working in a teacher's college teaching M.Ed as well as B.Ed. And I've got more than 40 years and nearly 4.5 decades of experience, starting from school level to the PhD level. I did a lot of work in Karnataka, especially in the area of school education. Now I am working at NAC, involved in many research projects. Thank you, sir. Other things I'll continue later. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. And may I request our other speaker? I can't see your name here. Actually, there is something here. So if you can introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Not able to see your name.
Yeah.
Dr.
Good
Om
afternoon
Prakash.
to all of you. I'm Om Prakash Chinghani. Yeah. I'm Om Prakash Chinghani. I'm Vice Chancellor of Apex University, Jaipur. Before joining Apex University, I was working at Rajasthan Technical University. I was director of the Constituent College of the RTU. And then I was, for more than 3 years, I was Pro VC of RTU. And basically, my field is structural engineering. I did my PhD from Budapest, Hungary. So I have a lot of experience in Europe and in India also. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for joining, Dr. Om Prakash. We have our speaker, Dr. Ashok Kumar Gadia ji, who has joined us. Please give us a short intro of yours, one-line intro. Dr. Ashok.
नमस्कार आप सबको नमस्कार करता हूँ। मेरा नाम डॉक्टर अशोक कुमार गदिया है। मैं चेयरपर्सन हूँ मेवाड़ यूनिवर्सिटी चित्तौड़गढ़ राजस्थान का। और आप सब लोगों को यहाँ पर बहुत प्रसन्नता हो रही है। अपनी बात आगे प्रारंभ कर सकते हैं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद डॉक्टर अशोक एंड वेलकम ऑल आवर स्पीकर्स. Amazing to see a range of experts who are with us in this panel. So I am requesting the topic of this panel is about tackling the innovation in admission and accreditation. आवाज का कोई इशू है क्या?
हाँ, आवाज का इशू है सर। आवाज कम आ रही।
Am I audible?
कट के आ रही है।
It is breaking. It is breaking.
So because of the COVID-19 situation, the whole university ecosystem is disrupted. The students are sitting at home; they are not able to come to the universities, and the admissions have to start. And the Corona situation is like the numbers are increasing every day. So we are all like seeing that it may go on. And how will the universities handle this situation, which will affect the whole admission to the enrollment, to the examination, to the exit process? So how this Corona has disrupted the higher education ecosystem, and how are you handling this crisis. So I am going to request each of the panelists to talk about this for 2 to 3 minutes each, so that we can have multiple rounds of discussions. So I am requesting Dr. Ashok Kumar Gadia to start first on this topic.
क्या आप मुझे सुन सकते हैं ठीक से?
हाँ जी
Yes.
बिल्कुल.
मेरी आवाज आप तक आ रही है?
बिल्कुल अच्छे से आ रही है. बिल्कुल.
ये अभी कोविड-19 के बाद सबसे बड़ा जो चैलेंजिंग टास्क हमारे सब लोगों के सामने आ गया है वो है 2020-21 के एडमिशन का। और अगर एडमिशन ठीक से नहीं हो पाए तो जो सेल्फ फाइनेंस यूनिवर्सिटीज़ है उनके लिए बहुत प्रॉब्लम होगी। वो कहाँ से अपने स्टाफ को सैलरी देगी, कैसे अपने एस्टैब्लिशमेंट को चलाएगी, ये चिंता हम सब लोगों को रात दिन है। इसलिए मेरा स्पष्ट मानना है कि राजस्थान सरकार हम सभी यूनिवर्सिटियों को ध्यान में रखते हुए यूजीसी को लिखे कि राजस्थान स्टेट में जो भी यूनिवर्सिटी चल रही हैं उस यूनिवर्सिटी को ऑनलाइन एडमिशन, ऑनलाइन टीचिंग, ऑनलाइन एग्जामिनेशन की परमिशन सबको मिलनी चाहिए। ये जो क्राइटेरिया बना रखे हैं 3.26 के, इन क्राइटेरिया को स्पेशली कोविड-19 के पीरियड तक रिलैक्स कर दिया जाए और सभी विश्वविद्यालयों को ये परमिशन दी जाए कि वो अपने एडमिशन्स इस आधार पर ले लें। दूसरा मेरी राजस्थान सरकार से ये अनुरोध है कि जो कोर्सेज राजस्थान सरकार की काउंसलिंग के माध्यम से जिनके एडमिशन्स होते हैं, चूँकि अभी तक कोई तैयारी किसी तरह की नहीं हो पाई है, इसलिए ये यूनिवर्सिटीज़ को इस साल के लिए छूट दी जाए, जैसे कि बीएससी एग्री एजुकेशन में बीएड है, डीएलएड है और तमाम एजुकेशन के जो कोर्सेज जो एनसीटी से अप्रूव्ड है, उन सब कोर्सेज को यूनिवर्सिटी अपने लेवल पर एडमिशन ले, ऐसी छूट दी जानी चाहिए। या अगर इसके बारे में अगर कोई मार्गदर्शन हो तो वो तुरंत दिया जाना चाहिए।
जी।
तीसरा मेरा ये कहना है, हमारे सब लोगों के जितनी प्राइवेट चीज़ें उनके एक्ट में लिखा हुआ है कि हम टीचिंग कॉरेस्पोंडेंस के माध्यम से भी करा सकते हैं, पत्राचार के माध्यम से। तो यूजीसी को लिखकर हम सभी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ को यह इजाज़त दी जाए, स्पेशली जो यूनिवर्सिटीज़ रूरल एरिया में है उनके लिए ऑनलाइन टीचिंग भी एक मुश्किल है, क्योंकि गांव में जो बच्चे हैं उनको इंटरनेट कनेक्टिविटी इतनी नहीं हो पाती। और इसके अलावा इंटरनेट अपने आप में एक कॉस्टली अफेयर भी है कि हर एक बच्चे को अपना मोबाइल जब रिचार्ज कराना पड़ता है तो बड़ी दिक्कत आती है। इसलिए ये इकोनॉमिकल रहेगा कि हम अपने पुराना सिस्टम जो हमारा पत्राचार शिक्षा का माध्यम था उस पर वापस आ जाएं और इसको सपोर्ट करें रेडियो से। भारत सरकार का सूचना प्रसारण मंत्रालय अगर सभी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में रेडियो कनेक्टिविटी दे देता है तो हर एक यूनिवर्सिटी को 4-4, 5-5 लाख खर्च होंगे और अपने यहाँ एक रेडियो स्टेशन बना ले। उस रेडियो स्टेशन के माध्यम से वो अपने बच्चों को रेडियो के माध्यम से और कॉरेस्पोंडेंस के माध्यम से अपनी पढ़ाई पूरी करा पाएंगे। और जो प्रैक्टिकल करवाने होंगे उसके लिए बच्चों को डिफरेंट में दूरी को मेंटेन करते हुए ये काम कंप्लीट करेंगे और इस तरीके हमारा का पूरा सेशन ठीक से चल पाएगा। आप सब लोगों से अनुरोध है, आपके माध्यम से मैं राजस्थान सरकार को, राजस्थान एचआरडी और यूजीसी को ये रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहता हूँ कि विशेष परिस्थिति में हमें ये सब तरह की छूट मिलनी चाहिए।
जी।
इसके अलावा जो आज का विषय है उसमें दूसरा विषय है कि एक्रीडेशंस का। तो सभी विश्वविद्यालय अपने लेवल पर, स्पेशली मैं अपने विश्वविद्यालय की बात करूं तो हमने नेक एक्रीडेशंस ले लिया है और इस साल सितंबर-अक्टूबर में हम उसके अपग्रेडेशन के लिए अप्लाई करेंगे। पिछली बार हमें बी ग्रेड मिला था और हम चाहेंगे कि हम बी से ए की तरफ पहुँचे और उसके और 12B भी करवा लिया है। AICT, फार्मेसी काउंसिल, बार काउंसिल, NCT सभी तरह की परमिशन हमने ली है और आगे भी हम लेते रहेंगे। हम चाहते हैं कि शिक्षा में गुणवत्ता बनी रहे, परंतु साथ में हम ये भी चाहते हैं कि जो गरीब बच्चे हैं, जो गांव में रहते हैं, उन भी शिक्षा की सारी सुविधाएं इन विशेष स्थितियों में भी मिलती रहे, इस बात की चिंता हम सब लोग करें। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद
जी। बहुत बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट बातें आपने उठाई हैं, और आपने जो ग्रामीण एरियाज में जो शिक्षा की जो इशू है उसके बारे में बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट बात बोली है गदिया जी। और मुझे उम्मीद है कि इस बारे में ज़रूर सरकार को स्टेप्स लेने की ज़रूरत है। और आपने जो बात कही है कि जो रेडियो का उपयोग, और जो पहले जो हमारे पास पत्राचार के हिसाब से जो कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस के हिसाब से जो हमारा जो सिस्टम चला हुआ था, उसको भी आपने रिवाइव करने की बात की है फॉर द रूरल एरियाज, जो अगेन
हमारा
जी
मैं एक बात कहना हमारा विश्वविद्यालय ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में आता है। हमारी जो सारी संख्या है उसका 75% बच्चा गांव से आता है, इसलिए भी गांव के बच्चों के लिए चिंता होना स्वाभाविक है। इंटरनेट और तमाम माध्यम शहरों में तो किए जा सकते हैं, लेकिन गांव में और गांव से और छोटे गांव में जब हम जाते हैं तो इंटरनेट कनेक्टिविटी नहीं हो पाती, और ये कॉस्टली अफेयर भी है। और आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा कि हमें बनना है और स्वदेशी चीज को अपनाना है।
जी जी, तो मैं
जो पूरा सिस्टम है कोरेस्पोंड का और सिस्टम है रेड सिस्टम का, उसको अगर अच्छी गांव चल सकते हैं, ऐसी मेरी प्रार्थना है।
जी जी, बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट बात आपने उठाई है। और मैं अब चलता हूँ
जी, आप आगे बढ़ सकते हैं।
जी, प्रोफेसर केपी यादव के पास हम लोग चलते हैं, और वो संगम यूनिवर्सिटी भीलवाड़ा को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं। तो प्रोफेसर यादव, आप अपना पर्सपेक्टिव इसके बारे में दें, सिचुएशन के बारे में दें ब्रीफली इन लेस देन 2 minutes और 3 minutes मैक्स।
ओके सर, ओके, थैंक यू सर। जैसा अभी प्रोफेसर अशोक गादिया जी कह रहे थे कि टेक्नोलॉजी का उपयोग जो है स्पेशली रूरल बैकग्राउंड के बच्चे नहीं कर पा रहे हैं या वहाँ अवेलेबल नहीं है, तो वो एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है। हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी भी नियर बाई मेवाड़ यूनिवर्सिटी के पास में ही है, अराउंड 30-40 किलोमीटर्स का डिफरेंस होगा। तो वी कैन आल्सो नो कि करीब 30-40% बच्चे हमारे यहाँ भी रूरल बैकग्राउंड से हैं, और वो ऐसे बच्चे जहाँ नहीं है, इंटरनेट कनेक्टिविटी तक नहीं है। तो एक ये अच्छा सजेशन है कि रेडियो जो है, पहले रेडियो सिस्टम था, उस सिस्टम को लाइव किया जाए और वो फर्दर उसको एनहेंस करके, ताकि उन बच्चों तक पहुंच बनाई जाए जो इंटरनेट से या ऑनलाइन क्लासेस से, ऑनलाइन एडमिशन से फोकस मतलब अपने को अटैच नहीं कर पा रहे। चूंकि एज ए टेक्निकल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू डिस्कशन चल रहा है, तो ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन या ऑनलाइन एडमिशन ही अब एक समय सोल्यूशन है, क्योंकि किसी भी तरह से हमारे पास जो 60-70% दूसरे बच्चे आ रहे हैं, दे में भी कि शहरी अर्बन एरिया से है या दूसरे एरिया से है जहाँ की मोबाइल कनेक्टिविटी है, तो उन बच्चों के लिए ऑनलाइन एडमिशन ही एक सोल्यूशन है। और ऑनलाइन एडमिशन के लिए जो आप समझते हैं, अगर बात करें हम, तो हमारी जो भी यूनिवर्सिटी या इंस्टीट्यूशंस है उसकी वेबसाइट है, वो सबसे बड़ा एक इफेक्ट डालती है। सबसे अच्छी क्वालिटी के वेबसाइट और स्टैंडर्ड वेबसाइट होनी चाहिए। दूसरा, यूनिवर्सिटी या इंस्टीट्यूशन का एक ऐप होना चाहिए जो हर बच्चा उसको जो चाहे नीडी हो उसको एक्सेस कर सके। तीसरा, हम चाहते हैं कि जो ई ब्रोशर है, जो भी स्टूडेंट्स लॉग इन करे हमारे यूनिवर्सिटी साइट पे जाए, उसको एक ऑटोमेटिकली ई ब्रोशर उसको चाहे मेल हो जाए या उसको व्हाट्सएप हो जाए, कुछ इस तरह की फैसिलिटी होनी चाहिए। और चौथा जो पॉइंट मेरा है कि फ्लेक्सिबल एडमिशन प्रोसेस होनी चाहिए। जैसे पहले था कि नहीं, बच्चे की हम बच्चा अप्लाई करेगा, फिर उसका हम एक एडमिशन टेस्ट लेंगे, फिर मेरिट बनाएंगे और एक डैशबोर्ड डिस्प्ले करेंगे जिससे कि एडमिशंस लेंगे। बट अभी क्या सिचुएशन है कि जैसे स्टूडेंट्स का ठीक है, ऑनलाइन जो बच्चे आ सकते हैं, जो ऑनलाइन अप्लाई कर सकते हैं, वो अपना अपलोड कर सकते हैं डेटा, वो तो एक पार्ट है, उसको हम और ऑनलाइन एग्जाम करा करके उसका एक मेरिट बना लें। बट जो बच्चे इस प्रोसेस को फॉलो नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, उनको भी अगर मान लीजिए उनका डॉक्यूमेंट्स बाई पोस्ट आ जाए, जैसे करस्पॉन्डेंस की बात की अभी गादिया साहब ने कि बाई पोस्ट आ जाए, उन बच्चों से मान लीजिए हम टेलीफोनिकली उनका इंटरव्यू ले सके हम, और उसके बेसिस पे एक मेरिट बनाए। मतलब एडमिशन जो प्रोसेस है दैट मस्ट बी सम फ्लेक्सिबल, कि स्टूडेंट कोई ऐसा ना हो कि वो रह जाए एडमिशन से। और स्पेशली रूरल बैकग्राउंड में या किसी बैकग्राउंड में स्टूडेंट कोई बचना नहीं चाहिए। अगर वो चाहता है किसी पर्टिकुलर यूनिवर्सिटी में, इंस्टीट्यूशन में एडमिशन लेना, तो टेक्नोलॉजी को सपोर्ट करना पड़ेगा उस तरह से, और जहाँ टेक्नोलॉजी सपोर्ट नहीं कर पा रही है वहाँ दूसरे जो हमारे पास वेज है, अल्टरनेट वेज हैं, उन अल्टरनेट वेज को भी इस समय यूज करना चाहिए, और ये परमिशन मिलनी चाहिए यूजीसी की तरफ से या आपके हायर एजुकेशन राजस्थान की तरफ से कि व्हाटएवर प्रोसेस प्रैक्टिसेस यू कैन अप्लाई, वो प्रैक्टिसेस के लिए हम जो है उसको यूनिवर्सिटी पे छोड़ा जाए, इंस्टीट्यूशन पे छोड़ा जाए, उनकी ईमानदारी पे छोड़ा जाए, और अगर जरूरत पड़ती तो उसको उसकी मॉनिटरिंग की जा सकती है ताकि स्टूडेंट्स किसी तरह से सफर नहीं करें। और ये सिस्टम जैसा कि काफी एक मार्केट में या लोगों के बीच एक दहशत सी है कि आगे क्या होगा, स्टूडेंट्स के बीच, पेरेंट्स के बीच एक दहशत है कि आखिर में अगले सेशन का क्या होगा, कैसे एडमिशन होगा, बच्चे की पढ़ाई कैसी होगी, एडमिशन के लिए पर्टिकुलर कोर्स की चूज कैसे कर पाएगा। तो अभी जब नेक्स्ट राउंड आएगा तो आई विल डिस्कस मच मोर डिटेल्स, 2 मिनट का टाइम है। तो मैं चाहता हूं कि हम सब लोग इस पे मिल करके और एक टेक्नोलॉजी को एम्ब्रेस करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि बिना टेक्नोलॉजी के तो शायद आगे अब नहीं बढ़ पाएंगे। सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग या जो भी डिस्टेंस अभी मेंटेन करना है, रेगुलर क्लासेस भी शायद करा पाना मुश्किल होगा, क्योंकि एक क्लास जिसकी कैपेसिटी 60 स्टूडेंट्स की, अब वहाँ 30 स्टूडेंट्स बैठाने पड़ेंगे, तो बाकी 30 कहाँ जाएंगे, दूसरा क्लास अरेंजमेंट कैसे होगा। या रूरल बैकग्राउंड में जो बच्चे पर्टिकुलर एरिया से आ रहे हैं, वहाँ अगर जैसे भी एक प्रोग्राम चलता था गवर्नमेंट का, बीज आपके द्वार, सीड एट द डोर स्टेप ऑफ द फार्मर, at the same way we can also propose की education at the doorstep of the students, कि स्टूडेंट्स के डोर स्टेप पे एजुकेशन जाना चाहिए। पर्टिकुलर एरिया में अगर मान लीजिए हमारे स्टूडेंट्स हैं तो हमारा टीचर चल के वहाँ क्लासेस ले ले, ग्राम पंचायत में या जो भी इस तरह की सुविधाएं हो, सो दैट कि कोई भी बच्चा अगर टेक्नोलॉजी की वजह से वो अपने को कंपेटेबल नहीं कर पा रहा है, या इसकी रेट ज्यादा है, या जो भी इंटरनेट कास्ट है उसकी वजह से अगर अपने को इसमें अगर एडजस्ट नहीं कर पा रहा है या लिंक अप नहीं हो पा रहा है, तो वी कैन प्रोवाइड सच काइंड ऑफ फैसिलिटीज को रिमोट लोकेशंस पे भी हम अपनी फैकल्टी अल्टरनेट में भेज करके डिफरेंट जो भी उनके सब्जेक्ट्स हैं उनको हम कैप्चर करें, उनको समझाएं। इसमें एक इशू लैब का जरूर आएगा, लैब के लिए जरूर एक वहाँ लैब अवेलेबल नहीं हो सकती, तो उसके लिए अगर कुछ इस तरह के जब भी परमिशंस मिलती है सेमेस्टर के मिड में या जैसे भी, उनको लैब की करा करके, लैब मतलब यहाँ यूनिवर्सिटी में इंस्टीट्यूशन में बुला करके उनकी प्रायोरिटी पे लैब करा दी जाए, और इस तरह से पूरे सिस्टम को कोपअप किया जाए कि किसी भी तरह से क्वालिटी ऑफ एजुकेशन हैम्पर ना हो। दूसरा जो पार्ट आपका है असेसमेंट एंड एक्रेडिशन, मैं पिछले कई सालों से जुड़ा हूँ NAAC के साथ, तो मैं ऑलरेडी देखा है 70% उनका ऑनलाइन हो गया है, 30% उनका अभी जो है ऑफलाइन चल रहा है, जिसमें कि पीयर टीम विजिट होती है, पीटीवी विजिट होती है। बट अब चूंकि ऑनलाइन में भी जैसे अभी सिस्टम हो गया, जैसे स्पोर्ट्स है, कल्चरल है, या जैसे एनिवर्सरी एंड डेथ सेलिब्रेशंस के पार्ट्स हैं, तो इन सब में आजकल जो है बहुत कुछ आपका AI आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस एंड मशीन लर्निंग बेस्ड सॉफ्टवेयर्स आ गए हैं जिनको हम यूज कर सकते हैं। और इसके साथ ही साथ वर्चुअल लैब्स जो एक कॉन्सेप्ट है AICTE ने भी दिया है और आपका दूसरे भी लैब्स में अवेलेबल है, तो वर्चुअल लैब्स का कॉन्सेप्ट भी बच्चों से करा करके हम उसके थ्रू उनका एग्जामिनेशन करा सकते हैं। CSR एक्टिविटीज में भी इफेक्ट पड़ेगा, जो कि बच्चे नहीं है यहाँ पे, स्टूडेंट्स नहीं है इंस्टीट्यूशन में, तो वो CSR एक्टिविटीज को कैसे हम कंडक्ट कराएं कि उससे सोसाइटी भी अफेक्टेड हो। इवन की जो बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस NAAC की स्टडी में आता था, काउंसलिंग स्टूडेंट्स के या दूसरी चीजें हैं, वो भी अब उनका वे ऑफ टैकलिंग द मेथड कहिए, मेथोडोलॉजी जो है वो चेंज हो जाएगी, क्योंकि आज के टाइम में कम्युनिकेशन जो है जितना स्ट्रांग होगा, जितना हम स्टूडेंट्स को एट देयर ओन होम, उनके घर पे हम जितना सपोर्ट कर पाएंगे, चाहे टेक्नोलॉजी के सपोर्ट से या दूसरे मीडियम से या अपनी फैकल्टी स्टाफ को वहाँ भेज करके, वही ये एक साल स्टूडेंट्स का बचा पाएगा। तो मेरा एक ब्रीफ ये व्यू है, और मैं चाहता हूँ कि सब लोग मिल करके इस डायरेक्शन में काम करें, और मेरी शुभकामनाएं। और हम लोग खुद इसमें काम कर रहे हैं, यूनिवर्सिटी ऑलरेडी इज वर्किंग, हमने ऑनलाइन एग्जाम्स कराए हैं, बहुत अच्छा, करीब 90% बच्चों ने जो रूरल बैकग्राउंड के थे, इवन डिप्लोमा में भी, उन बच्चों ने ऑनलाइन एग्जाम्स दिए हैं और अच्छा रिजल्ट है। तो मैं चाहता हूँ ये सब लोग थोड़ा सा, अगर सब लोग एफर्ट्स करेंगे मिलके, और शायद सरकार का भी सहयोग मिलेगा, तो हमारे लिए चैलेंज जो है दैट कैन बी कन्वर्टेड इनटू एन अपॉर्चुनिटी। तो मैं चाहता हूँ उसको एक अपॉर्चुनिटी की तरह लिया जाए, और उसको अच्छी तरह से फर्दर जो है हम सब लोग इसको स्ट्रेंथन करें, और स्टूडेंट्स और पेरेंट्स का पूरी तरह से सपोर्ट करें। धन्यवाद।
बहुत अच्छे विचार आपके रहे हैं, और बहुत अच्छे आप लोग स्टेप्स उठा रहे हैं इस बारे में। और मैं अब रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ डॉक्टर अभय कुमार, वाइस चांसलर IEC यूनिवर्सिटी हिमाचल प्रदेश, कि आप अभी जो चैलेंजेस आप जो इस सिचुएशन में आप क्या देख रहे हैं और कैसे उनको जो सॉल्यूशन देख रहे हैं।
Very good afternoon to all the distinguished panelists. ठीक है। At IEC University, I must say that as we navigated through the coronavirus crisis initially, we started doing damage control. That means कि every faculty member was supposed to teach online whether by uploading videos on the YouTube or by sending emails or by uploading things on the website. Then the situation of challenge evolved and streamlined so that the upside was innovation. Many innovations came into being. Like if you talk about the first innovation, that is admission process, we have installed an online admission process, and keeping in view the fact that the outbound migration of Indian students to foreign countries is not going to happen to that extent, plus the outbound migration from Himachal Pradesh to other states is also not going to happen to that extent this time, we have immediately targeted the local students who initially were reluctant to come to the local universities, but now they have started doing so. The admission process as of now is not that bad as we had envisaged early. Second, if we come to enrollments, some of the students have already paid the initial registration fee, though we have not asked them to pay the fee at all. So when we talk about accreditation, for instance, we have a regulatory commission in Himachal Pradesh by the name of Himachal Pradesh Private Educational Institutions Regulatory Commission, which regulates the course approvals, which gives us number of seats, plus the higher education department of the Himachal Pradesh government does the fee fixation as well. So what we have requested them and what they are going to do now is accreditation through virtual medium online. We are supposed to give presentations as Vice Chancellor and Dean Academics in a webinar to the Commission's chairman and members. And through that webinar, the accreditation process will again be done without on-site inspection. So if you talk about accreditation, there can be 2 or 3 aspects in my mind. One is that either we give extension to the existing accreditation, or we give retroactive accreditation, or then we can do virtual on-site inspection with presentations in any form. Like for instance, in the School of Pharmacy, which is one of the best schools we have in the region, Baddi being the Asia's biggest pharma hub, we have very good interactions with the industry. So pharmacy students of final year, half of them are already placed through contact with these industries, through virtual placement drives. Now, what we want to project further is that when we talk about the process of, examination, for instance, as Mr. Ashok Gadia and Mr. Yadav had said, that online examinations are to be done, but we have to pursue a hybrid method of teaching. Because, you know, our students are also adept, being more of learners through information, rather information seekers rather than learners. This has been in the classroom also. So the blend of synchronous, asynchronous and classroom teaching has to be the call of the day, even after the corona crisis finishes. चाहे कोरोना क्राइसिस खत्म भी हो जाए तो भी हमें ये ध्यान रखना है, ऑनलाइन टीचिंग एक इनोवेशन के रूप में हमारे समक्ष है और ये हमेशा रहेगा. जिस चीज को हासिल करने में हम शायद 5 वर्षों में भी ना कर पाते, वो चीजें हम लोगों ने 40-45 दिनों में हासिल कर ली. यानी हमारे टीचर्स जो 30-40 वर्षों के एक्सपीरियंस के प्रोफेसर, सीनियर प्रोफेसर भी हैं, जो इतने टेक्नोलॉजिकल सेवी नहीं हैं, वो भी आज अपने आप को अपग्रेड और अपस्किल कर रहे हैं और ऑनलाइन टीचिंग कर रहे हैं. मेरे पास मेरे व्हाट्सएप पर हर स्कूल का एक ग्रुप है जिसमें आज किसको क्या पढ़ाया गया मुझे पता चल रहा है. एक स्टूडेंट्स का ग्रुप है मेरे पास एज वाइस चांसलर डिफरेंट स्कूल्स के, जिनसे कि इंटरेक्ट करते हैं. और इन सब के अलावा 3 मिनट मेरा खत्म होने वाला, मैं एक बात आपसे जरूर कहूँगा. मुझे जॉर्ज बर्नार्ड शॉ की कुछ पंक्तियां याद आ रही हैं. वी हैव नो राइट टू कंज्यूम हैप्पीनेस इफ वी डू नॉट प्रोड्यूस इट, एज वी हैव नो राइट टू कंज्यूम वेल्थ इफ वी डू नॉट प्रोड्यूस इट. मतलब हमें आज अपने छात्र छात्राओं और उनके अभिभावकों को उनके साइको सोशल वेलबींग और मेंटल वेलनेस का भी ध्यान रखना है, जिसके लिए हम लोगों ने ऑनलाइन कुछ मेंटल वेलनेस के क्लासेस चलाई हैं. उसमें कुछ मैंने स्वयं भी लिए हैं, जिससे कि जो उनकी परेशानियां हैं मानसिक, जैसा कि हमारे पहले वक्ताओं ने कहा कि हम भी अभी तक सिर्फ 70% छात्र छात्राओं तक पहुंच पाए हैं ऑनलाइन टीचिंग के माध्यम से. मैं ईमानदारी से बोल रहा हूँ. अब ये 30% जो गाँव में है, उसमें से मोस्ट ऑफ देम डोंट हैव कनेक्टिविटी और एक्सेसिबिलिटी टू इंटरनेट. दूसरी बात, उनके पास ना लैपटॉप है ना स्मार्टफोन्स हैं ढंग के. तीसरी बात, मेनी ऑफ देम आर फर्स्ट लर्नर्स इन द फैमिली. दैट मीन्स कि देयर पेरेंट्स हैव नेवर बीन टू अ कॉलेज और यूनिवर्सिटी. तो हम उससे कैसे उम्मीद करें कि वो इन गैजेट्स को एक्सेस करेंगे? वो तो खुद ही बेचारे स्कॉलरशिप पर पढ़ रहे हैं, प्लस यूनिवर्सिटी ने कई को फ्री शिप में पढ़ाया. तो मैं अभी इतनी बातें कहूंगा, उसके बाद आगे जब भी और आप कहेंगे 2-4 मिनट हम लोग इसी तरीके से आगे बढ़ते रहेंगे। धन्यवाद।
बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट कहे आपने बोला कि जो 40 वर्षों में जो नहीं हो पाया वो 40 दिन में हो गया, आईटी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, आईटी एडॉप्शन। तो may I request our next speaker? We have our speaker from the Apex University, Om Prakash ji, Professor Om Prakash. May I request you to speak, please?
Yeah.
Ji.
Okay. I suppose we are talking about admission, in the first phase.
We are like talking about admissions also, examinations also, and overall assessment also, like overall challenges. Yes.
Yeah. All these three are interwoven. You cannot have separately admissions and assessment and accreditation. Three are interlinked. Pre-COVID, during COVID, and after COVID, we have a great challenge for these 3A. The admission, when we talk about admissions are from three different stages. One is digital platform, second is physical footfall, and third is, through counseling, which is mainly with the professional courses. So as far as digital platform is concerned, we were already using digital platform, but now after the COVID, we have to use, more aggressively this digital platform. We have to showcase our university through 3D virtual tools, which has to include the infrastructure, the availability of faculty, and the laboratories. All these are to be properly showcased so that we get maximum enrollment through digital platform. Now, as far as physical footfall is concerned, I think during the COVID and after COVID, it will be very difficult to get large number of footfall. So through this, the admission will be not in a large number, but we can get more admission through, as Gadiaji has already said, that we need some relaxation in case of physical counseling, which is taking place by the government agencies. So we have to consider this aspect also. And the biggest issue today is that we do not have the results of 12th class. So unless until we get the results of the 12th class, the admissions are very, very difficult. This is the scenario of the admission. As far as assessment is concerned, if we look at the assessment, the main reason for assessment is to identify whether the learning is taking place or not. And as we all know, there are 6 levels of cognitive skills which we need to create in the minds of the student. The first level is remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. So these different levels we have to create in the minds of the student. Unfortunately, in most of the cases, universities focus only on the lowest part of this pyramid, that is remember. So assessing these 6 levels through digital media is a very, very big challenge, and we have to create that kind of environment. The biggest problem, in the assessment is that assessment is a silent killer of the learning. Unless until we have proper assessment technology, we cannot measure the learning outcomes in terms of Bloom's taxonomy. So this is very important, and we need to focus on this area in a very big way. And luckily during COVID, many agencies, they are working on this, and they are creating this kind of environment. One of them is proctored examinations, where we can really conduct the end-term examinations, where we can have the activity of the student, which is captured by AI, and we know what he is doing. But apart from this, because we have midterm assessment, we have end-term assessment, we have to create something for the high level of learning, that is analyzing, evaluating, and creating. So these 3 are created by giving assignment in terms of seminars, project, case studies. All these are to be taken care of through digital media, and we do hope that the agency who are working in this area will provide all this kind of facility in the different platforms. Now,
Sure.
as far as accreditation is concerned, why we go for the accreditation? Because the government of India has already signed the Washington Accord, and it has become mandatory for all of the institutions. The issue is that once we go for the accreditation, we ensure that we are providing minimum quality of education to the stakeholders. And second is that the student can have the idea about selection of the various institute and colleges on the basis of ranking. The ranking can be in terms of NIFR, ranking can be in terms of NBA, NAC, or for example, AVET, which is very popular in case of engineering programs, which is done by the US also, US agency. So we need to go for accreditation, and there are certain agencies which have come recently. I have seen, for example, in ports, they provide lot of facility where we can capture the data required for accreditation. The biggest issue for the institutions and the universities and colleges is that how to capture this data. Physically maintaining these data for 3 years is always very difficult. But now there are applications which can capture this data, and we can have the proper record of those data as per the guidelines of NAC and NBA. That is the scenario today, and we need to take the advantage of technology. Thank you.
Sure. Excellent inputs, Professor Om Prakash, and I am requesting our speaker, Dr. S. Shrikanta Swamy from NAC, to please give your views about the present situation. Yes. You are on mute, sir.
Mute.
Professor Swamy, you are on mute.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
At the outset, I must thank Dr. Ravi Gupta, because almost 17 years you have been there in the field of digital learning, inspiring many teacher educators, many institution builders, policy makers to use this technology to the maximum extent. That's why I said I must congratulate you. Now the time has come that we are forced to use the technology to the optimum level. COVID-19, it has brought a lot of anxiety among the learners, among the teachers, and also among the parents. Therefore, this is the right time to convince the learners on one hand, teachers on the other hand, and at the same time the parents. It is our common commitment to see that all the three groups should be nurtured, and all the three groups should be encouraged, so that they can have faith in our system of education even in future. Now, with respect to the today's seminar, I am really happy that the two aspects have been taken care here. One is with respect to the technology, other one is with respect to innovation. Now, innovation is inevitable. Innovation makes us to move fast. Innovation makes us to bring alternative methods by means of which we can still think of progress. And technology supports the same idea. And by using technology, larger group can be covered and maximum justice can be done. With respect to innovation, I'm happy to share one point here. Our National Innovation and Startup Policy 2019 for students and faculty, they have highlighted the need for encouraging innovation in all institutions. The Abhay Jere, who is the Chief Innovative Officer, he says, how do you make $5 trillion economy to our country? To evolve systems and mechanisms to convert the present demographic dividend into high quality technical human resources capable of doing cutting edge research and innovation and deep tech entrepreneurship. Only it is through this it is possible for us to enhance our economy. And what about our position in the global innovative or innovation index? Recently, 2019 index shows that our innovation index is 52. We are having the 52nd rank in innovation, whereas China must be having around 14th rank. Therefore, Abhay Jere says at least we should take another 5 years maximum to see that we should come within the 25th rank in the Global Innovation Index. Since many technological institutions have been involved today, my sincere appeal to all of them, this is a right occasion for you to enhance the technology, especially the rural people are waiting. What is that the technological institutions can provide to us? All these years they have been waiting, but our technology has reached the urban population to a greater extent, but not to the rural side. Therefore, I think we have to commit ourselves to see that how best the radios can be used to disseminate the knowledge, how best the TV channels, we can have many TV channels are there for some other purpose. Therefore, can we have educational TV channels? Already there are few, so that the rural people, they have access to radio easily, they have access to TVs, so that how best we can enrich their existing knowledge. I think confidence building is the motto, and this is the need of the hour. How best we can build confidence among the learner. Therefore, 3 points I would like to consider here. Point number 1 is with respect to admission. All my learned professors have already shared very nice, interesting, practical ideas. No doubt technology can be used, apps can be used in order to make our admission little more efficient. But my concern is, do you include an affective domain in the process of your admission? Because some people have already suffered because of COVID-19. Therefore, what should be our declaration to the people who are BPL, who are below poverty level? They are facing a lot of problems, especially the migrants who are not having jobs. They wanted to put their children for higher education. How can we address this issue? How can we make the education accessible and reachable to them? I think that should be one important point that all of us should consider. Then apart from that, the time factor, how best we can minimize the time to increase the efficiency of our admission, how best we can make our admission more transparent, how best we can do justice to the masses who are waiting to get into higher education. I think these aspects should be considered, and I'm sure the present technology has got a lot of scope to address these issues. The second point I would like to stress is with respect to the teachers, teaching and learning. Now, many teachers, they are at home. Majority of them are forced to come out and then encourage the students to learn. No doubt there are many educational apps which are available. There are many educational videos which are available. But some of them are structured, fit into our structured curriculum. Some of them are too generic, too open, and may not be. Therefore, my sincere appeal to the teachers, how best you yourselves can equip with all the existing available, the video clippings and other things, and how best you can instruct your children in a structured manner to refer to those, so that it will be of greater help in writing their examinations in future. Then whenever we are talking about online teaching, I am from basically professor of education. We refer to many aspects related to the teaching, like the motivation aspect, the teaching skills aspect, the pedagogy or the methodology aspect. Then with respect to the content analysis aspect, like that there are many things which are favorable to make our teaching very effective. Some of our online teaching touch upon only on the knowledge component, but they may not touch a little bit beyond that, except few places here and there. Therefore, how do we cover the skill component through our online teaching? How do we cover the affective component through our online teaching? How do we motivate them? I think in that way, my expectation would be, including myself, how best we can equip our teachers, how best we can motivate our teachers to keep the essence and the principles of teaching, so that the online teaching can be slightly on par with that of our offline teaching. No doubt we cannot compare our online teaching without the offline teaching. There is no substitute for a good teacher and a good teaching, because through good teaching, individual differences can be met very easily. But technology is making sincere attempt in order to address the individual differences also. Now, with respect to the examination, the objectives with which we are teaching, we have to keep those objectives also for testing. Therefore, testing is an important task of every teacher. Every teacher should be trained in testing. there are many online testing programs available. The teachers should equip themselves and see that how best we can prepare our students to take up online test. Already common entrance tests are the examples, gate examinations are the examples. Like that, there are many online testing schemes are there. Therefore, we have to make our students to be familiar about all these online testing schemes. And at the same time, teachers should also focus how best we can evaluate our own programs. Testing is one part. Evaluation is more comprehensive. Evaluation includes objectives on one hand, learning experience, what you are providing on the other hand, and the outcome. All the three are connected in the process of evaluation. As Professor Om Prakash has rightly said, we are also accountable not only for teaching and testing, we are accountable to the evaluation process of our education. Because our virtual education should help us to improve the quality of education. That in turn helps for improving the quality of research. There are a lot of researches which are going on, but some of them are only based upon the felt need and more functional and which are of greater help to us. Whereas the other researches are carried on for the sake of doing the research. But online education, through online education, it is possible to make the research program also a little more rigorous, because a lot of materials are available by means of which we can empower the learners to become more efficient in taking up the research task in future. Then with respect to accreditation, because I'm working in the accreditation council, I think most of my friends have already shared. I think in 2017, we have modified our accreditation framework. Our manual has undergone slight change. You are all aware about it. Because after 2017, it is more like the institutional friendly, more objective in nature, and almost 70% of the assessment is done at the NAC level through the system, so that we maintain transparency. This gives confidence for institution to apply with lot of faith about the accreditation councils and agencies. Therefore, 2017 onwards, we made it institution friendly, 1 point. And the second point, the only 30% is left for the peer team people to go, practically visit, supervise, interact, then convince whether the institution is providing the quality education or not. Only 30% is there. This is a great paradigm shift in the process of our accreditation. Though we are having NIRF on one hand, NBA on the other hand, and Quality Council of India on the other hand, NAC, with all its 25 years of its existence, it has contributed and contributing great to monitor the quality of teaching and learning. We follow 7 criteria, and the third key indicator, we have got 32 key indicators. These key indicators will make institutions to commit themselves to provide quality education. We provide around 115 questions for the universities. Through these questions, we ask them how are they functioning. Through 7 criteria we are. Among these today, for this seminar, I would like to refer to the 2. One is about the third key indicator, which speaks about innovative or innovation ecosystem. How this institution is having the innovation ecosystem, because without innovation, we cannot say that we are on par with the global standard. Similarly, with respect to the integration of technology, we have got one more key indicator, that is the 4th one. Therefore, technology and innovation, these two should be given more focus, and we have to convert the COVID-19, this threat, into an opportunity, so that a lot of innovations can be done in the area of teaching, in the area of learning, and also in the area of research. And lastly, in the NAC today, we are also conducting a lot of webinars in order to make our procedure very familiar, very clear to the institutions in the name of awareness programs. We also require experienced people who are good in assessing the institutions. Therefore, we are also having assessors orientation program online. We are giving training. I'm happy, Abhay Kumar sir, you have given a beautiful suggestion. Can we do the peer team visit online? I do not know. Innovative point of view, it is good. Practical point of view, it has got its own limitation. But I am optimistic because of the present situation. We can try the online peer team visit only in few institutions on few conditions in order to build the confidence. Otherwise, I am afraid we may dilute the efficiency of our accreditation process. I think, I do not know. Still, you're all experts. We are very open to get the suggestions from all of you. But we can try. Nothing wrong in it. But it cannot be a permanent solution because practical visit, even online, many people are showing many things. When we go to check them online, it is not there. You are aware. That's why we have introduced the geotag technique and geotag evidences to verify them. But I appreciate Om Prakash's idea as well as Abhay's idea about that. I will be with you, sir. We will see how best we can do it. Thank you.
Sure. Excellent. I think you have given an extensive, detailed update on the various aspects of the topic which we are discussing. And thanks for detailed explanation about the accreditation. So we are running short of time, and so I'm going to request each of the speakers to briefly speak for 1 minute each or 1.5 minute each max, and talk about the biggest biggest opportunity which had God created because of the COVID situation. So I am going to request Mr. O.P. Chengnani ji to please speak first. Unmute, please.
Okay, two things has happened during COVID, one is the, online learning. Though we were doing, we were using NPTEL, SWAYAM, all these programs we were using in our university, but the COVID has given us impetus to increase the use of online learning. A lot of activity has been done in this area, and the benefit is that we can go for online learning and in the form of blended learning, that we have classroom learning also as well as online learning. And the assessment is also, being done using online learning, and assessment tools are also available now through which we can use MCQ, and we can also have end-term copy-based examination also. That is also possible using different applications. As far as accreditation is concerned, as I said previously, the biggest problem was capturing the data required as per the NAC guidelines. Now that is also now possible. The only thing is we have to train our teachers, because the whole assessment and accreditation process is basically interlinked, and the teacher has to understand how to measure outcomes and to frame questions accordingly so that proper measurement is possible for the learning outcomes. And learning outcomes are linked to the curriculum also. So there is a complete circle for design of curriculum, assessment, and accreditation process. So every teacher has to understand this aspect, and that is very important after COVID. Thank you.
And may I request our next speaker, Dr. Ashok Gadia, to briefly talk about opportunity in 1 minute max. So, mute pe hai. Mute.
Hello. Yes. Can you
Yes, sir.
hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Of course, in COVID-19, we got opportunity, and almost all teachers learned how to teach online, how to use audio-video techniques to our students, and we have learned a lot in this process. Secondly, our teachers had got sufficient time to reorient themselves. They started research, they started writing papers, they prepared themselves for NAC accreditations, NIRF, and so many things we have. Rather, we should say that we have corrected our home and we have done our homework very well, because we got a lot of time to do all these things. Third thing, everybody has learned that this period is a critical period for all of us. So we have to jointly make efforts to get admissions, and we have to pass this time with very less expensive in a very economical manner, so that we should pass this critical period in peaceful manner. I will suggest one thing, that in these circumstances, we should best use of television, radio, and the correspondence techniques of teaching, so that we can reach to rural area. The internet facilities in the rural area is remote. Still there is a challenge in that. So we should use radio and this correspondence mode of teaching, and it would be useful for our students, since we have all rural students with us. I am thankful to the organizers that they have given this opportunity to interact and understand the views of the experts. Thank you very much.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Dr. KP Yadav from Sangam University, please.
This COVID-19, one thing where the attendance in the classes was less. Now, due to this online classes, attendance has improved. Some students from remote locations were unable to attend the classes regular. Now they are attending more classes. They are at their home and they are attending. That is one thing is improved, especially in research and PG courses where there was some little problem. That is improved. Another thing, opportunity, earlier NAAC was asking A+ grade, then provide the online courses, online classes. Now it's everywhere, every institution has been asked by UGC and everybody, by every government agency, then go for the online tutorials, online classes and online admissions. This is also earlier it was very challenging to get the A+ or A++ grade from the NAAC. So now it is, this facility is given to the each and everyone that can be utilized and maybe benefited to the each and every students. Another thing, opportunity comes to me, that is students coming from abroad, that is exchange program or for some kind of regular programs. There also, if the COVID-19 continued, then we can share them online courses, online classes, online tutorials, everything. So some you can say some saving of cost of technology that is very much now reducing. And this opportunity also to that students, suppose some students are pursuing the PhD from other countries, research in our institutions, universities. And now that work we can share from one another instead of coming and staying in our institutions. Such by the way of this COVID-19, one thing, IT sector is going to be one of the strongest area in the each and institution. Another, those who are not cope up with that, they have to cope up with this technology. Either it is the faculty, staff, or even the students. Students are, I think, more smart and more. They have the feeling of more challenges. This is not a challenge. This is an opportunity for us that we can reach to the students at their home or that own level. And with this, even as the NAAC is concerned, Sir Professor Swami was saying something 70% and 30%. Now, some criteria of this, suppose the peer team visit may not be happen in future. On that way, the peer team discuss on this like something webinar or online mode. And again, the from video conferencing through the institutions, we can sit in our places and just sitting there and challenging, seeking all the things, all the documents and everything. Because this time technology like the artificial intelligence and machine learning has given us a very good, tremendous results to us. So that there is no 100%, there is no need to go there and go to physically check. Even in some foreign institutions like this, foreign accreditation process, that was there a bit like that. Even they are thinking in that direction. Professors should not come to that place, and from that location, remote location, they can assess the things like that. So we have to cope up with the help of these technologies, artificial intelligence and machine learning, not only in the admission process or only in the in education sector, only that. In assessment and accreditation, that is also give us the plenty of opportunities, facilities, so we can do better for the society, for the better students and the parents. Thank you, sir.
Sure. I think excellent inputs given. I will request Dr. Abhay Kumar, Vice Chancellor of IEC University, Himachal Pradesh. You're on mute, sir.
Please, sir.
I think.
Now audible?
Yes,
Am
yes.
I audible now?
Yes.
What I am
Yes,
saying
yes,
is,
yes.
of course,
Yeah.
innovation and technological advancements are here to stay, and we will stabilize over a period once the crisis is over. Fine. I personally have found two opportunities out of this, apart from innovation and technology. One is, till now we have mostly remained as islands of excellence, isolated islands of excellence. What I have recently personally done is I have talked to Honorable Chancellor and Vice Chancellor of some private universities in India, and we have come together to collaborate in terms of helping each other by delivering lectures from experienced faculty members of their university for our children and maybe some of ours, depending on the position of strength we have. I have started this process in the past 15 to 20 days. Even I have delivered some management lectures to students of other universities. I have passed out my MBA in 78-80. Maybe I'm an old guard. So this is the first opportunity I feel we have discovered. From islands of isolated islands of excellence, we have come into a collaborative phase. The second one is, I have been a very strong proponent of the Guru Shishya Parampara. Pardon me for saying so, but we have only been professionals with a chalk talk teaching mechanism till now. What this has happened is we had certain mentorship proposals in place in our university, in which each faculty was given about 4 to 10 students to mentor. Now that empathy part has suddenly come to the fore. And I feel that the faculty members are not talking to their students more as guardians rather than as simple teachers. Because that one-to-one contact they are having online or on telephone has suddenly changed the scenario everywhere. So I hope to God that we are going to now come up post-COVID in a new phase, with a new face, and all the universities will together help each other and collaborate with each other. I think your platform is the best, Mr. Gupta, and credit goes to you if something happens even now. Thank you so much.
बहुत धन्यवाद. Thank you. And let me request our last panelist from NAC to give your concluding remarks of the session overall. And I will request you, due to the paucity of time, please speak under 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. This COVID-19, I think it has changed the complete scenario. And those who are not very much comfortable in using technology, they are more comfortable now. They have gained confidence in using the technology. And many softwares have become more familiar to the teachers as well as learners. The concept of virtual laboratory, which was not familiar earlier, now it has become very familiar. And many initiatives suggested by UGC, MHRD, and also AICT. All these things, people are now, they are pondering over those suggestions, whatever that they have suggested, especially with respect to the quality mandate. Now the technology is helping them to do it. Like the Swayam Prabha, the MOOC courses, edX courses, Coursera, and so many other courses, they have become more popular. In that way, even whatever NAC has suggested in terms of innovative practices, the digital era is giving a lot of opportunity. I think that is my opinion. And apart from that, there is some kind of change with respect to the way in which we are looking at the technology. Earlier, theoretically we are looking, now we are looking from the functional point of view. That is another beautiful change that I have noticed. Then from the NAC's perspective, I think we expect the institutions, this is a period where there should not be any kind of gap that is going to exist. Whatever the quality that institutions have been maintaining, we expect them to maintain by putting little more hard work, using the technology so that the gap should not come, because this is only a temporary period. And in future, when we look back after 5 or 6 years, we should not see any gap with respect to the quality of education, whatever we are providing to our students, because this is a global scenario. Accept the limitations and proceed with it. Then NAC is also considerate in giving opportunity for the people to take little more time in case they are not ready to come for accreditation. They can take right to the right director, and he is very much considerate in giving little more time if they are not comfortable because of the situation. Apart from that, I am sure utilize this situation so that many things can be done in terms of quality. And let us not forget teaching, learning, and research, which should result in improving the economy of our nation. University means knowledge economy. Education means quality. Let us not compromise with the quality. This is what I want to just share. I thank you, sir, on behalf of all my friends who are present here. It is a great opportunity, and kindly keep it up and proceed. You are doing your own service. Thank you.
Great session, and thank you all the panelists. I think amazing ideas have emerged from each of the panelists, and we are going to create a report of each of the sessions, each of the recommendations. We heard about the recommendation by Gadia ji regarding the usage of radio, the correspondence classes, and also he has requested the UGC to look at some of the regulations, and also several other speakers have talked about various challenges and various other opportunities, including the focus on quality from NAC. Thank you all the speakers, and thank you all the audience for joining in. And I request all the speakers and all the audience to please like and share this video on the YouTube and Facebook, so that the great ideas which are emerging in the sessions are spread to a lot more people across various states, across various universities in India and even outside India. And this we will close the session, and we are going to start our next session in 5 minutes, which is focusing on the HR, the human resource and employability issues emerging in the COVID-19 situation. So we will sign off here. Thank you all the speakers. Namaskar.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.